Hello friends, Satyendra here, and in this video, let's animate the tailstock assembly. And to do this, first you need to design this assembly. And for this, you can watch my tailstock assembly video where I have done the entire assembly starting from all the parts. The link is given below in the description area and it will also come onto your screen. So first you complete this assembly and then go for animation. So once you complete this assembly, your assembly will look like this. So if you have done this assembly watching my video, then you need to do some small changes before animating this. So first I will update this section A. So here you go for the second option and select this body and this barrel and say OK. Activate this section. So now your assembly looks like this. Next change is to this hand wheel constraint. So just edit this. Go to placement and this second constraint. You delete this and go for new constraint. Just move it outside. And then using this surface, fix this surface. Say OK. So I just updated my section A and one constraint from hand wheel. Now once this is done, we will focus on assembly animation. So to understand the assembly animation, first we need to understand the assembly constraint. So whenever you assemble a part, you have two different type of assembly constraint here. This is static constraint and this is dynamic constraint or motion constraint. So you have two different type of constraint, static constraint and dynamic constraint. So to animate any assembly, you must use the dynamic constraint or motion constraint. So first we need to change these constraints for those parts which is having motion. So seeing this assembly, we know that this barrel moves forward and backward and this spindle rotates. So we have two parts here which is having motion. So for these two parts, we need to change the constraint. So I'll just edit the barrel and first I will delete these constraints. And then I'll go for motion constraint. Now here you have different options. So the first option, rigid. So this constraint is used to fix any part at any location when the part is not having any motion. So all 6 degrees of motion will be restricted. Then the second one, you have pin. So this constraint is used when the part is having only one motion, rotational motion. Then you have slider. So this is used when the part is having only sliding motion, forward and backward. Then you have cylinder. So this is used when a part is having two motions. First one is rotational motion and second one is sliding motion. And likewise you have several options here. So the best example for pin is your table fan. So in table fan, your fan blade only rotates. There is no forward backward motion. For slider, this barrel itself is a classic example. So this barrel moves forward and backward, but this doesn't rotate. For cylinder, the best example is the nut. So nut rotates and move inside the bolt. So for time being, we'll focus on pin and slider for this particular assembly. So we only have these two type of motion here. So for barrel, I will go for slider. And then you have axis alignment. So for axis alignment, you can select center axis of two parts, or you can even select the cylindrical surface of the two parts. Then the second constraint to restrict the rotation. And for this, I'll select this face. And by query selection, I'll select this small face. Then the last constraint, translation. This is just to make the 0 position. So I'll select this face and this face. Now this is 38, but this will be my 0 position. So even after applying this constraint, you still have this sliding motion open. So the part will slide. Now say OK. So once you apply the dynamic constraint, if you see the part, you have one icon here which is a dot inside the box. So now if you go for drag component, you can drag this part and all other parts which is linked with this part will move accordingly. Similarly, I'll go for screw spindle. I'll edit it. Now here also go to placement and delete this constraint. Now once this is deleted, go for dynamic constraint, and since this part is rotating, So I'll go with pin. And then I'll select this surface with this surface. Now next is translation. So for translation, I'll select this to this surface. Now this I'll change to distance, and this distance this side is 6. The rotation axis, this is just to make the 0 position. So I'll select this surface and then I'll select this surface. I'll say 0 position. Select enable regeneration value and say OK. So now if I go for drag component, I can drag this. So if you drag it, it is rotating, and if you drag this, it is moving. So now your assembly is ready for animation. So you have applied dynamic constraint for 2 parts and a static constraint for all other parts. Now let's move to the animation, and for this go to application, mechanism. Now here when you go for drag component and drag any component, it's either rotate or slide. So it clearly shows that there is no link between this part and this part. So to animate this, we must have a link in between these 2 parts. So to create the link, we have this connection. So it will add connection between these 2 parts. So once you apply the connection, if you rotate the hand wheel, the barrel will move. So let's do that first. And for that, you have this type of connections here. So in our case, we'll go for gear because it is a gear type of connection. Now here you have different type of gear connection. You have spur gear, bevel gear, worm gear, and rack and pinion gear. So if you have a specific gear connection like this, then you can go with these 4 options. But if you have other than this connection, then go with generic. Now here you have 2 options, gear 1 and gear 2, and then you have the properties. So if you select gear 1, it will allow you to select the motion symbol. So you can either select this symbol or you can select this symbol. So for first gear, I'll go with this symbol. So now your spindle is gear 1 and the pitch circle of your spindle shaft is 34.5 because the outer die of spindle is 38 and inner die is 31. 7 is the pitch of the thread. So 31 plus half of the pitch, which is 3.5. So it will be 34.5. Then go for gear 2 and select this symbol. Then go to properties. So this is the default value. You are getting mm per revolution. You can leave it or you can go with user defined and you can define your value. So I'll leave it as it is. I'll say apply. I'll say OK. Now if you go for drag component, you can drag this wheel and you can see that now these 2 parts got linked. Now to rotate this wheel, in our workshop we rotate this wheel by hand, but here inside the Creo, to rotate this wheel you need to apply a motor. So for that I'll go with servo motor and I'll select this symbol. So once you select this symbol, other parameters get highlighted. So go to profile details and here change it to angular velocity. Now here the motor function is constant. So you have several options here. So these options I'll talk afterwards. So here you have degree per second. So I'll take this as 45 degree per second. So in every 8 seconds it will rotate 360 degree. Now go to reference and flip the direction. So this motor symbol direction will change and then say OK. So now motor part is also done. So everything is done to play the animation. So just for a recap, we will understand the previous thing, whatever we have done till now. So first we changed dynamic constraint for 2 parts and after that we got this symbol and this symbol. Then we moved to mechanism. Here we applied connection between these 2 parts and then we applied to servo motor to rotate the spindle. So servo motor can be applied to barrel. So the idea behind this is If this spindle is rotating because of this barrel movement, then we will apply servo motor to this symbol. But if this barrel is moving due to the motion of this spindle, then we will apply servo motor to this symbol. And that is why I have applied servo motor to this symbol. So these three things we have done. We have applied dynamic constraint, connection and servo motor. Now let's play the animation. So go to mechanism analysis. Now here you first change this position to kinematic. This value let it be 10. This is 10 second. And just go to run. See, it is going forward. Say OK. So now you have that analysis generated here and play back here. So just play this analysis. Select this icon, increase the speed and play it. Now here one thing you will notice that the barrel is moving forward and backward, but the barrel movement is all of a sudden forward and all of a sudden backward, which doesn't look good. So why this is happening? So this is happening because your motor is running at constant velocity. So if I go inside the motor and edit it, you can see here that it is running at constant velocity. So if you go to this graph, you can see this constant velocity graph. But practically your barrel movement should be just like your fan blade. It should gradually increase the speed and then it should move constantly and then gradually it should decrease. So for that you have several options here. So if you go for ramp and see the graph, here also you have the constant velocity. If you go for cosine, so these all are having different graphs. So in my case, my velocity should increase gradually and then it should move constantly and then it should decrease gradually. So to get this output, you can use table. So here first I'll add 4 rows. Now first one will be 0 with 0 velocity. Second one will be 2 with 45 degree. Third one will be 8 with again 45. Fourth one will be 10 with 0. Now if you go for graph, you see it is gradually increasing, then it is moving constantly and then it is decreasing constantly. So for 2 seconds it is gradually increasing, then from 2 to 8 it is constant and from 8 to 10 again it is gradually decreasing. Now you say OK. Then go to your analysis and here everything you leave it as it is and just go for run and say yes. Say OK. Go to playback and play the animation. Now here you select this icon first, maximize the speed and then play it. See, gradually decreasing, increasing, constant, decreasing. So this is the motion I need. It will come back and it will decrease and it will stop. So now your animation is ready. Now to convert this animation into a video, you can go to capture and here you have different type of format. You can select any one of this and from here you can change the resolution and from here you can change frame per second and say OK. So once you say OK, it will start converting this animation into a video. So this is how we do tailstock animation in Creo Parametric and I hope this video will be helpful. Now you can like this video if you find this video helpful and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.